Loko I'a is the Hawaiian term for what we would say in English, fish pond. More specifically, they're seafood ponds. Loko means a pond or an enclosure. It also means something that's inside. And I'a, technically, by Hawaiian definition, which normally is layered, I'a means anything you can eat out of the ocean. So it doesn't mean just fish. So fish, seaweed, crustaceans, stingrays, eels, anything you can eat out of the ocean is considered an I'a.
So fish ponds are a really unique environment. They exist at the intersection of land and sea, and they kind of serve as these nurseries for baby fish. And so the point of the fish pond is really to support biodiversity of these kind of brackish marine organisms. We often think of fish ponds as these refrigerators for fish to feed the communities. But there's this new idea that our Kia'i are really thinking about, is that they're really the activators of abundance. They're not the place that holds the abundance, but they're the seeds of abundance that helps to promote giant fisheries off the coast and ensure that we have the health of the entire ahupua'a.
He'eia Fish Pond is located within Kaneohe Bay. Kaneohe Bay used to have upwards of about 40 fish ponds stretching in this 8-mile wide bay from Kualoa over here to Mokapu. And so that mix of fresh and salt water that we have here within Kaneohe Bay provided an abundance of food. And when our ancestors started building fish ponds in the bay, they realized this is an amazing opportunity to engineer even more abundance. Hawaii imports about 50% of its seafood that's consumed in the islands. That's crazy to me. I think we all know this, but in ancient Hawaii, there were 0 imports. They were 100% sustainable, living off these islands. And fish ponds had a large part to play in that.
Food sovereignty issues in Hawaii are very, very important. It only takes 2 weeks of the ships not coming before we don't have any food. And if you look at our history, in our kupuna days and the height of the ahupua'a system, we had almost the same population as we did today, and we had this abundance of food. How do we actually get back to that so Hawaii can be sustainable? And I think reclaiming and restoring and revitalizing our Loko I'a is one of the first steps.
Yeah, I'm on the holding here. 3. Yay! Let it die, let it die, let it shrivel up.
So today we are cutting down a mangrove forest that has infiltrated one of our fish ponds. And our keiki pond, our pond for the pua'ama, the baby fish, has been completely filled in by mangrove. And we are opening this up and reestablishing this in order for us to grow food to feed our community and to increase food security and food sustainability and regenerative economy here in Hawaii.
This here is called a propagule, and they're already, you'll see them hanging. They're already germinated, they're ready to go. You can see the roots coming off of it right now. Right, this just hits the ground and it's roots and grows. And then you get giant roots and they get giant trees very, very, very quickly. And while these are an excellent carbon capture, they put it right into the ground where we don't want it.
So we are on the lee side of the bay, and all the wind and currents are pushing stuff right in here. So anything that may get deposited ashore will get washed down from the stream, end up out of this mouth, and washed back in. Anything coming from the other side of the bay, Marine Corps base, whatever, it's all getting blown right down into here. Climate change is something that is very, very real and very important to me. How we as a human species can survive on this planet, but it is known that the amount of carbon we're putting out into the atmosphere is contributing greatly to climate change. And the single biggest way we can reduce our own carbon footprint is by buying locally produced food And if we can grow food here to feed us as we once did, we're drastically reducing our carbon footprint by 1 million people, right? And then not only that, with climate change, we have more severe weather, storms, hurricanes, and that could possibly shut down our harbors, which means we don't get food coming in. And that's an issue.
We're also getting more frequent large floods. Scientists are telling us that 100-year floods are becoming 50-year floods, and we'll get them twice every 100 years instead of just once in 100 years. We have restored our fish pond walls to the height that we have seen has been a consistent height from 800 years ago. Our highest high tides of the year, called king tides, top over the general height of the wall. That height, just in the last about 6 or 7 years, is not high enough.
Pop it in your mouth, pass it around. There you go. Grab one, eat it. This is called a kuli kai. It is a succulent that grows on the kuapa, on the wall of the pond. It's indigenous and it's full of electrolytes. So now the pond is part of you. Wow. You are physically connected to the pond.
I like it. Yeah, eat it. Yeah, it's like salty, like electrolyte.
It's super important that we look to the past, not for all of our answers, but where we look for our values, where we look for concepts, where we look for technologies. Hawaiian fish ponds have the capability of producing several hundred pounds of fish per acre per year. We got to get more fish ponds restored. We got to get mangrove out. We got to deal with sedimentation. We have to deal with storm runoff and in some areas, sewage pollution.
These water battles are not easy. We're not trying to fix this fish pond for 2 years. We're trying to restore these systems for the next 800 years so that they start to cultivate abundance again. You know, there's a mo'olelo from Kailua, from where I come from, the makale, and it talks about this time when the fish pond was overgrown. And it talks about how the community rallied and came to go clean out Kauai Nui in order to restore the fish and the capacity to feed the community. And I think that's the direction that we're moving in. And I just have so much aloha for, so much gratitude for all of these hamas that are out there every day doing this type of work, because they are really supporting our future and helping to get us to a time when we can hopefully not be dependent on outside food sources.